So today we're gonna go over the basics of making your own soil, right? For starters, you're gonna need 3 shovels of sand, 2 shovels of manure. Now make sure the manure is older, because if it's too fresh, it's gonna be too strong for your plants, right? So what happens is that over time, the ammonium in the manure breaks down into more stable components, and those are the ones you want for your plants, right? So it needs to be stored over time, and when you pile it, it also starts to gain heat inside of the pile, which speeds up the process where the stable components form, right? Besides that, I use something called black peat, at least the top layer of it. The bottom layer is the one that you make, well, it's you dry it and you can use it as a fuel, as a fiber-rich fuel. But the top layer of it is really nutrient dense, and there's a lot of fiber in it, so it is going to be really good for your worms and so on, like anything that is good for your plantation, basically, right? And this one is topsoil that I sifted off before I put it in different piles, the clay and the topsoil. Now the topsoil is a little bit too much clay in, but my plan is to make it better. I'm gonna add the black peat, the manure, the sand, and eventually I'm gonna add coal to it, but that's a different section. We're gonna go over that a little bit later. All right, I managed to salvage this old staircase from a construction barracks, right? And it'll form, or it'll act as a grate for my clay topsoil, right? What I do, since I want to break it down, I don't want to have to, break it down manually, so I just rub it like that, and it's actually a huge cheese grate, right? I mean, like, it's not that complicated. So what I end up with is a finer product that I can use to mix my soil with, because I don't want to have lumps of clay in it, and this is the best way I know of. So I'll bring it back soon. So what you end up with is a fine or coarse dust of topsoil, clay, topsoil, whatever you want to call it, right? What you need is 3 shovels of topsoil. You need 3 shovels of black peat, 2 shovels of sand, and 2 shovels of manure. Now the exact measurements are 35% of the topsoil, 25 black peat, 20 of sand, and 15 of manure. Later on we're gonna add another 5% of coal, but that is way later, okay? The reason why the amount of manure is 15% and not 10, which is better for established plants, is that I want the plants to form root systems and build a healthy plant, right? And the more manure you put into it, the more green you get. Less berries and fruit, more green. When you go back down to 10%, you get more fruit, more berries, and less green, okay? I highly recommend that you put it on board, something smooth. It makes it easier for you to turn it over and mix it, right? It is not a must, but I highly recommend it because it makes it so much easier, okay? So 2 plus 2, you get 3 of these. like that. Start mixing it a little bit, because the bigger the pile gets, it's the more amount of energy you need to put into mixing it. Okay, so start early on, make it easy on yourself. Like that. I'm gonna put the clay in now, okay? So, let's see. And something like that. Now all it takes now is to mix it properly, make sure that you get a smooth kind of blend, right? No big lumps of anything in it. And if you feel that this already made mixture is a little bit too thick, you can always put a little bit more sand in it. Vegetable loves that, so no harm in it, okay? And this is what the finished result looks like. This one looks pretty good to me. I mean, don't mind the grass straws and things like that. It's gonna be for growing vegetables in it anyway. Vegetables and flowers, right? So, that is the finished result. And we're gonna add coal later on. The reason why you add coal is that coal keeps the moist, and it also holds on to nutrients, so that nutrients seep into the soil slowly and doesn't just, wash away with the rain or whatever. And they kind of noticed this in the Amazon, right? Because the Amazon keeps rejuvenating after wildfires and things like that, and they found an insane amount of coal in the soil, which is one of the reasons why it's so lush there, right? And they sell it by the bag in the store if you want to buy it. It's called biochar, but why buy it when you can make it, right? It's insanely expensive to buy a little super small bag, and making it yourself is not that complicated, okay? This time around I'm gonna use these, the balcony boxes, right? But they're more for storage, let's say that. I found these Easter lilies. People are throwing them away right now, and I was thinking if I store them for next year, I'm gonna have Easter lilies in the spring, which my pollinators, they're gonna love it. So I put it in these and store it until I can plant it somewhere else. That's the basic plan. And if you don't have black peat, because not everybody lives close to a former bog or swamp or whatever you want to call it, you can always go with regular compost or any organic material that you have let decompose over time, right? So don't despair. It's not, you don't have to use black peat. It's only a very, very good additive. This is a really good solution or alternative to making good soil, but it is not necessary. All right.